Hey, Sonoran Sounder here for Medium Games 9 semi-final match between Chattateo and Echiqueur. Hopefully I'm saying both of those names correctly, or at least somewhat close. They have started earlier than expected, so we are a ways into game number 1 here. Interesting board. Goons, of course, always an interesting and polarizing card. Lots to do here. Good trashing with Amulet and Exorcist. We got Wandering Minstrel, a great village. We got Tack. It looks like one of the players just bought a Tack, I believe, a Tactician. Yes, Echiqueur did on turn 12 in their last turn. This does look like a good tactician board. Looks like, with goons, cargo ship. Neither player with a cargo ship yet. Goons and cargo ship payload. Hey, Seanahan's joining. Perfect.
Hello.
Hey, Seanahan.
Make sure OBS or whatever's picking up my Discord stream, but I am here.
Perfect.
Surprise.
It should be.
Finals.
Excellent. Yeah, so I was just kind of reviewing the board. We're a ways into game 1. I assume this is game 1. I think they started about 10, 12 minutes ago.
Yeah, Amulet Skulk for Echiqueur, which is... interesting. I don't know.
Echiqueur. Is that how you say it?
Exorcist. Oh, boy. I don't know.
I said Echiqueur. I don't know. I think it's French.
I assume French would be Echiqueur, but I don't speak French, so I don't know why.
I don't either. We'll go with your pronunciation.
E playing C.
Yeah, there you go.
So it does seem, man, I don't know how I feel about these tacticians, especially like if you have exorcists, which they don't actually. They have the skulk, but the ability to do single tack periodically with goons is nice. But we're also looking at all these treasures. I kind of would have liked to have trashed all my coppers, and I can even see getting a skulk a little bit delayed with exorcist. To try to turn the gold into a ghost.
Into a ghost, yeah.
If you can ghost and hit like a minstrel or something, you're like pretty guaranteed to kick off. Even if you hit a goons, it's not terrible, right? 4 coins and guaranteed to hit the goons.
Yeah. Well, I was even thinking, with cargo ship and goons, wandering minstrel, obviously you can't go for the night cards with exorcist, but you could pull off a double tack on this board. You got Amulet as well.
Actions.
What's that?
Say you get 5 minstrels and then the tack, so you've got 7 actions. It's probably enough. And you're scheming stuff, and you're playing a couple of goons, a couple of cargo ships, and we're headed towards a 3 pile here pretty closely. It looks like minstrels and schemes are almost empty.
Yeah.
Echiqueur has a points lead and maybe more stuff, but Chattateo's deck is a lot thinner.
Yeah, it looks like they're quite a bit cleaner. Obviously, they have the exo, so they're, like you said, that doesn't play well with attack.
Yeah, you can even get the exorcist. You play it a couple times and then trash it to Amulet after you get a tactician, or if you have single tactician. So Echiqueur knew that they had 2 schemes on top of the deck and still top decked both goons and a wandering minstrel. I would have considered not top decking one of the goons, just to give you a chance to find some of those schemes. Because now this wandering minstrel is going to draw a skulk, I believe. Actually, they could have reordered the wandering minstrel. Now this wandering minstrel draws a skulk, I believe, if I'm tracking their deck correctly, and an amulet. Okay, it was a stop card.
Yeah, something they can't play.
They knew it was a stop card with the way they played it, so that amulet could have been a scheme. if they reordered their deck, or if they didn't top deck the second goons. I guess if you want both goons, but you can, draw is so limited here.
Yeah, and playing 2 goons when you're only buying 1 card, it just doesn't do much.
Yeah. So here chattateo can wisp and imp, and then they can imp a scheme. Like they're actually starting to get some draw going.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned this game 3 piling, and there are 2 piles low, but I feel like there's still plenty of time for chattateo to take advantage of their cleaner deck. Now with a second goons as well, they're going to start scoring more consistently without having to add green to their deck.
Yeah, they should definitely undo here and trash something, but I would consider taking minstrel goons. Yeah, just minstrel goons.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
And feel pretty good about the spot. I think they can even start taking silvers here to turn them into imps, or take a skulk and then turn skulk into imp and turn gold into ghost or something. They've got better ghost targets. Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess with the great trashing here with Amulet and Exorcist, I mean, they've been able to get thin enough where, they just, as attractive as Tactician can be, they just haven't needed to do it. And like here, E has kind of a sad Tactician turn where they're not able to buy anything.
I don't know. They didn't find the goons.
Yeah, well, they have 2 goons and they played them both last turn, and so it didn't get back into the shuffle.
They didn't scheme. They didn't have any schemes last turn. What did they scheme?
No, remember they had the minstrel and 2 goons was all they were able to play.
Right, and they triggered a shuffle there.
Yeah, and they triggered a shuffle, so both goons were in the discard.
Yeah. I guess the other thing to note, the points are like completely meaningless here unless you have a 3 pile, because you just play all your goons and then you buy a bunch of coppers and you can score like arbitrarily large amounts of points.
Yep.
I think even chattateo can consider. Well, yeah, I was saying exercise the scheme, but they've only got 1 scheme, so probably that doesn't matter.
They got 2. They got 1 in play and 1 in their hand.
Yeah. So they don't want to. They probably want to top deck two minstrels.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
This could be even like scheme. I'm looking at a second pile. Scheme and 2 amulets feels maybe too greedy, but
yeah,
they can consider doing some stuff starting to lower the estate pile. We are out of double goons.
Seems reasonable.
Suggests.
I mean, if you keep top decking 2 minstrels, you feel pretty strongly that you're going to kick off, right? Or an imp and a minstrel.
Yeah, especially with they've got a much better action density. They've got all these wisps and imps. I'm fine with this deck consistency top decking 2 minstrels. I think 2 goons does threaten the pile out next turn. Does not threaten the pile out next turn. But they're threatening to get a commanding lead. I was thinking like scheme, double amulet or something, like going hard and just saying I'm going to gain and play both amulets for coppers, and then or gain a silver or something, and then buy 5 amulets to win the game next turn.
Yeah. Ooh, a beggar. That's spicy.
Yeah, I think I would prefer an estate over the beggar here. It lowers the estate pile, and I'm never playing the beggar.
Yeah, I assume that's just to get another wisp into the deck, and get the VP from goons.
Yeah, there's no world where you react the beggar to gain the silvers to goons that you then trash the exorcist. That's just too slow.
Right. But yeah, I guess the estate, if you're just going to trash it anyways, you might as well put the estate in your deck.
Yeah. So, yeah, Echiqueur needs to be careful here not to leave a pile out, but they also have to score a bunch of do stuff with this turn, because otherwise chattateo will just continue to maximize their turns.
Yeah, and of course this turn's a bit of an aberration with the tactician in play.
Yeah, although they're starting to get thin slowly with the amulet and more schemes and stuff. It seems like they'll be able to. Oh, they don't have any imps. So yeah, Chattateo has the imps and the wisps, just has a lot more draw.
Yeah.
I think they need to take another goons. As sad as that is, lowering that pile. I don't think they can take a goons and a scheme. And I don't think they can take coppers. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
Where that leaves us. They have the tactician, but if they play that next turn, they can't play all this money, which is $9 worth of coins.
Right. Yeah, they certainly need a goons here. But yeah, beyond that, it's hard to know.
If you don't think Chattateo can get to 18, which I don't think they can get to 18.
No, I think they're. I think
they added a gold and a goons last turn. I think they can get to 18.
Yeah, and I suppose they could play if they do have a pile out potential, they could play the beggar. Because the beggar's 3 money as well. Okay, so they don't touch goons, but they do take the last scheme.
Yeah, so Province is kind of, I don't know, it's a goons board and it's a big goons board. Province is kind of doing nothing. But there's also like no non-terminal cards left for them to buy.
Yeah, and I assume they're thinking they need the points any way they can get it, which I get, but it's going to be hard. I mean, their next turn's probably not going to be very good.
And Chattateo can play 2 goons and buy 2 cards for 8 points.
Yep.
Buy 2 estates or something. How many estates how many buys Echiqueur has 4 buys, 2 goons, and a skulk. So Chattateo can take 3 estates, for example, this turn.
Yeah. Are they 1 buy short of piling estates this turn? Maybe 2 buys short?
1 or 2 buys, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is, they don't need to pile here. They just need to buy a couple things, and they could even take 2 estates this turn if they're worried about locusts or something. Although they don't need green cards, so locusts is not going to hit a duchy, turn it into an estate, and give them a sneaky pile out.
Yep.
But we'll see. We're not quite drawing this turn.
Yeah,
we didn't find the Exorcist. I believe we top decked a bunch of stop cards, an Exorcist, and
a bunch of treasures,
a gold, and some treasures.
Yeah.
So we're now in a position where Chattateo may dud next turn. I wonder if they needed to not play that Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, probably should have not played that. Ooh, trash to goons though. That's big.
Yeah. Goons before Skulk.
Right, because
what's the difference?
Well, the Skulk could give the. Yeah, I guess it doesn't. I don't know.
I'm not sure which hex makes a difference. You could tell us, Maharath.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So so they've got 2 schemes in place. They can top deck 2, like Wisp. They can top deck 2 minstrels or something, or Imp Minstrel.
Imp Minstrel, yeah, which they did last time, and they weren't able. And presumably they're going to get goons to attack. So, oh wow, that's a lot of estates. I guess that's pretty safe though with that many points.
Yeah, Echiqueur only has the 1 goons now, right? So they can just top deck minstrel goons and win next turn guaranteed. Or goons, I guess, knowing they have the treasures.
Right.
Echiqueur's only got 3 buys now.
Right.
And even if they somehow buy double province estate, that's only, or province double estate, that's 8 plus the 3 goons points is 11. So.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a nice line by Chattateo.
Yep. It's a good find to set up a guaranteed win this turn. Yeah, that was a well-constructed deck there in the end.
I mean, the Exorcist Open, I surely approve over the Skulk. I of course opened Skulk in a league match last night myself, but it was a different kingdom, and that was to spike fives. And there, I guess you want to spike a six, and maybe you can do that with the Skulk Open, but the Exorcist just gives you value, really good value long term.
Yeah, getting thin and getting those wisps into the deck, and then picking up a Skulk later obviously ended up being a much better line there. All right, game 2.
Yeah, so this is the semifinals. That's right, and the winner plays
semifinal.
6K3W.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's first.
So chattateo had a bye. They won the group stage. And Echiqueur beat Hamperboy 3-2 to get here.
Yep.
So this is surely save copper by Recruiter on 3-4. On 5, when you see your opponent has 5-2, you just cry a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Druid doesn't look all that exciting, but on a 5-2, well, I don't know, maybe just pick up the Vagrant instead of the Druid although I guess Terminals...
You can also save Estate, save copper.
Yeah, that's true.
The problem with that is you have a 12-card deck the other way with Druid. So if you see your Recruiter turn 3 or 4, you have a clean shuffle. If you save a card, then you have a 6-card hand and then a 5-card hand. So if you don't see your Recruiter in those first 6 cards, it misses the shuffle. But we have save, we've got Recruiter, like this is a fast kingdom. I don't really think the Recruiter missing that somewhat short shuffle anyways. You'll probably hit 5 one of those turns. And you can actually argue that saving copper on turn 2 is better. I would have to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, Stockpile is always a good card too. So obviously, Echiqueur's Recruiter Open is preferred, but I think as long as, which obviously getting Stockpile means Chattateo is going to be able to get their own Recruiter here into their next shuffle.
Yeah, I would have taken River there as well and Stockpile. Here, I think Chattateo should not play the Poacher. They should save the Poacher and buy a Recruiter.
Okay.
I'm just not. You're not doing that much with this 2, and the 1 coin next turn is going to do more for you than the coin this turn.
Yeah.
Most likely. I think it doesn't probably end up mattering with this draw, but. And here you just get 2nd Recruiter. Haunted Woods. Huh. That was not on my radar. I wanted to get 2nd Recruiter and start messengering poachers or something, and then using my extra Recruiter to trash the poachers. And I mean, I guess you do want Haunted Woods long term for the draw, but
yeah, getting
I think I'd rather get a 2nd Recruiter and get thin.
Yeah, Recruiter's such a good card.
Stockpiles a ton of times.
And like you said, once
stockpiles.
Yeah.
Again, here I would save. Yeah, I mean, you can trash a copper. You can save the Poacher.
Wow, they trashed the Poacher already.
It's probably fine. We'll see what they buy here. Yeah, the Haunted Woods, like the attack is doing pretty much nothing, right? Like at worst, you're top decking an estate, but you kind of want to do that so you can track your Recruiters will eat all these estates.
Right.
I really do like a 2nd Recruiter here. You get to start trashing some coppers. You can get stockpiles faster.
Yeah, I mean, Recruiter I think is certainly preferred over Hireling as well.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the Hireling is doing here. It feels like a huge cost at 6. now, yeah, now stockpiles for Echiqueur. Certainly.
Stockpile, and I guess, I mean, it's almost getting too late for the second recruiter.
Yeah,
Start.
it probably is. We've got a lot of duration draw. I think again the hireling is just not contributing to the payload of the deck, which is what we want to like just spend the next 3 turns buying all the stockpiles we can, and then the last turn of that we buy the golds,
Yeah.
and then along the way we thin some coppers, and we're already attacking. We've got Haunted Woods overlap going. I said maybe you messenger a pair of poachers just so you can trash those for more. Chattateo has gotten the academy, which I'm not quite understanding why, but sort of means they're never going to have action problems again.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. I mean, they still got 2 estates to trash to their recruiter as well.
Yeah, one of the problems with stockpiles sometimes is you add a lot of them to your deck early, and they are stop cards, and then you're buying more. So you're just adding more and more and more stop cards, and the hope is that at the end of the day, once you expend them all, they've all left your deck, and you've added enough payload to make up for the fact that you had all of these really long shuffles with lots of stockpiles. And what we're seeing here is Echiqueur did not add a lot of stockpiles, so they're having short shuffles. So even though they've got less payload technically, they're able to play the payload more often and build up the deck. And I really don't understand the academy here. I feel like you can get by with recruiter, but perhaps they're worried about something.
Yeah.
So
I guess it makes a little more sense for E, given that they're just recruiting coppers now. They're eventually going to need to recruit something else. But like you said, buy a messenger, a poacher. I mean, you're going to want the messenger in your deck anyways because the stockpiles are going to run, and you need another source of plus buy.
yeah, they do have the one druid, but yeah, again, your messenger is going to be a good card for the deck long term. And here the stockpiles have completely run.
Wow.
So
yeah, they went in a hurry.
Maybe needs to buy a gold here. Yeah, turn 11, I would say, is probably on the high side for, is on the late side for stockpiles running.
Well, they were. H-Roll made the comment that there were 6 stockpiles left. That was just 2 or 3 turns ago, and now they've been hammering them hard the last couple turns.
Yeah. So Echiqueur just probably needs to buy 2 golds here, and maybe not play the last stockpile. Play 2 stockpiles, buy 2 golds, and they could also play. I think contraband is bad. I don't understand poacher at all. It's drawn negative now.
Yeah.
And like a gold is just a much more dense form of payload.
Yeah. With the stockpiles empty, the poachers really don't help you.
Yeah, so that's what I meant when we were talking about the transition, right? So if that turn Echiqueur buys 2 golds, all of a sudden their deck has gone from having 4 stockpiles to 2 golds. Their payload has dropped, but it's stable now, and then you sort of continue building from there. Chattateo does have more payload in their deck. They've got more 6 stockpiles, so they can buy potentially another gold, but it's going to take them a couple turns to draw through and see all of that.
Would you buy a gold here as Chattateo?
I think so. They also need to buy a messenger because they don't have plus buy in their deck. But I think gold now, I don't think there's a way they actually draw that gold. But another thing, save is not doing a lot in a kingdom with Haunted Woods. They could have just not saved that and bought a 3. They also bought a Vagrant over a Druid, which feels like a pretty clear mistake because they
they need the plus buy.
They needed the plus buy. If Echiqueur can add a green card to their deck, then the poacher can discard it and the vagrants can draw it.
Right.
Whatever that's worth.
Right.
So to me, this is 14. So this could be like messenger gold and save a stockpile, or it could be like messenger gold. Again, you're pretty happy to recruit the poachers. Messenger gives you some coins and buy. The gold gives you stable payload, and then they can even start greening potentially next turn. They've got plenty of recruiter food with all the poachers, or maybe next turn they add some more golds.
Wow, they're really hammering those poachers.
Yeah. Normally poachers are bad with one pile empty, but they're about to empty the poacher pile.
Yeah, they're about to create another problem for themselves.
If I were chattateo, I would totally messenger poachers right now.
Yeah.
I said that concurrently with Itrol. Good to know we are simpatico there. Messenger some poachers, buy a poacher. That's 8, and they've got 20 money here. So messenger poacher, buy 2 golds. We've got 6 buys.
7 buys.
So I don't think there's a win. Sorry, we have 7 gains as chattateo. Messenger, 2 vagrants. I'm counting 1 gain short. Is there a way to manufacture a gain that I'm not seeing?
Yeah,
I'm seeing 1. Yeah, I'm seeing 7 buys. You can messenger 2 things, but you're not lowering the messenger pile. I'm seeing 1 gain short of a tie, actually.
Well, and they're first player as well.
So messenger poacher, buy 2 golds, and then you've got a good payload. And Echiqueur's deck is in a little bit of trouble because they have all these poachers which don't do anything. So poacher costs 4. Oasis costs 3. What would the card that's +1 card, +1 action, +1 coin, discard 2? Would that cost 1? Would you buy that card for 1 coin?
Most often, you probably wouldn't even buy it for 1 coin, would you? I mean, it would have to be a pretty unique. You'd have to have a pretty unique kingdom to make that worthwhile.
Tunnel, Village Green.
Yeah, stuff like that. You'd have to have a unique setup like that to make
That's
it worthwhile.
Tunnel and Village Green. Okay. They did not do the poacher thing. They just did.
Okay, they did add the plus buy, which is good.
Yeah, double gold druid. Man, Echiqueur's deck gets real bad if they empty the poachers.
Yeah, if you empty those poachers, and it only cost you 8 to do it, that seemed like it was definitely worthwhile.
And I don't know why they didn't recruit one of these poachers either.
Yeah.
These poachers are really bad now.
I guess you start greening here then? Or do you need more payload in the deck first?
Yeah, I would take a gold here and a recruiter, honestly, to start recruiting the poachers.
Yeah.
I mean, if chattateo does empty the poachers, I think Echiqueur is in some trouble. They need to quickly, they would really need a second recruiter to deal with the poachers because the poachers just get awful very quickly.
Yeah.
And again, here I would say messenger poacher, buy poacher. Buy second Haunted Woods. The second Haunted Woods doesn't seem to do anything. I think they could go, second Haunted Woods, but I would certainly empty the poachers and say, Echiqueur, you've got more points than me right now, but your deck is going, your hand size is going to decrease very quickly.
It's a lot of poachers. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen such a lopsided poacher split, especially at this stage of the game where emptying it has such a huge strategic advantage to one person over the other.
Yeah, it comes up sometimes. Whatever reason, one person gets an ironworks or something, and like poacher is just a nice innocuous card to add to your deck for a while,
Yeah, and then it
and the
becomes
cost
bad
isn't dealt
late.
until yeah. Um, so E didn't buy a province. It's very weird. They buy a province on turn 13, and then on turn 14 they
Now they revert to
add
building
gold
payload.
silver.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
So again here, messenger poacher by poacher. Seems like it is close to winning for Echiqueur.
Yeah, I think so.
Possibly you save. Yeah, you save something to get. Saving something is free here if you in that line, and save does get around. Save does get around the haunted woods slightly.
Right, you could save the province
Anything.
to basically
It doesn't matter what you save here.
add an extra card to your.
Does save not work if you click save?
Really? I thought it was first card you buy. When this is your first buy, not just first card bought.
Interesting. I think when Messenger came out, save had not been printed yet.
Interesting, yeah.
What set is Messenger in?
So assuming Chattateo doesn't switch gears and empty the poachers, which it certainly doesn't look like they're going to do, who do you think has the advantage here?
It should still be. It should still be Echiqueur's advantage here.
Due to that higher payload?
They have added more payload.
Yeah.
They can start recruiting poachers, and they should. Oh my god! Wow.
Whoa! Why did they trash? That seems awful. When you could have trashed a poacher,
and then not trigger this shuffle here.
Not triggered a bad shuffle and played the haunted woods, so you have more
draw.
Ugh! Wow. That doesn't. I mean, even double provincing there doesn't seem great because they're not going to be able to double this turn without a haunted woods in play. So Chattateo can just buy one province here. Oof.
Yeah. I guess if Chattateo was tracking their deck, they should not have played that last recruiter. Knowing that there was a Vagrant down there.
Yeah.
So this is 10. I assume you play this druid next turn. Card next turn. But they don't have enough money in the deck at this point. That was why I kept saying like they should buy a couple of golds this turn.
Right.
And then Messenger Poachers gives them even more money. I'm trying to think of I think you can probably go Province Vagrant, Province Druid.
Could go Province Silver to give yourself at least a threat of Province Duchy next turn.
Yeah, that's maybe the best because then if Echiqueur buys Province, you can win, or Province Estate, you can win. I think I like that line the best. Province, take both Druids as Field's Gift and buy Province Silver.
Yeah, I think you need a little.
I think they have enough draw. They trashed Copper and a Vagrant this turn. If they don't bottom deck the Vagrants.
Yeah, draw's not a problem for them, I don't believe.
It's a little tight, but I think they'll be okay, especially because they can recruit Vagrants or something.
Province Druid, again, I guess, with this line? Oh, now they're doing the
Messenger
messenger
poacher
thing.
line does not seem crazy to me, given that Echiqueur did not play a Haunted Woods last turn. And they have 5 poachers in deck, 6 poachers in deck. Like, they don't have a Haunted Woods in play, so draw is tight. So emptying the poachers here feels like...
Yeah, no, it still feels good. I just didn't think they were going to go that way. Oh,
Messenger silver gold. Interesting. The problem is they're still down a full province. So if Echiqueur can somewhat safely province here, I don't think I'm super worried about doubling.
yeah.
Chattateo.
With adding a messenger, a silver, and a gold, draw is going to be a little bit of a challenge now.
Yeah, they added 3 stop cards compared to the other line we had, which was 2. But we're starting to see, even with the poachers, like where our hand size started at 7, we're down to 5.
Yeah.
This recruiter is going to see. Again, I would happily play the recruiter and trash a poacher here, but
Yeah,
I'd really like to get a Haunted Woods in play for next turn.
Yeah, half of those cards down there are poachers, I believe. Or no, I guess. Yeah, 4 out of those 8 are poachers.
Yeah, and technically Chattateo is 18 money of payload in the deck, so doubling is possible. Double plus estate is even possible. So Echiqueur, I think, just wants to try to get duration draw and play and buy like a duchy, or duchy seems fine. They really are not wanting to trash these poachers, though. They're really quite attached to them.
This is barely
this
province.
Feels like they're just buying province.
If they want province here, they do take it.
Oh, so we can recruit the Haunted Woods this turn as Chattateo.
Yeah, that's true. So they probably are going to get through their deck.
In which case,
if they have 18, that's a win.
Just double province estate for a win.
Yeah.
If I'm not crazy. You can certainly lead on a Vagrant. We did trash a Vagrant last turn. It might come down to... it might come down to draw order. There is some logic to play Messenger first, then play Druid to top deck Recruiter. I don't know if they still get there with that count. But certainly, yeah, recruit the Haunted Woods here to start with. We've got 10, 11, 13, 14 money in hand. So we need to find a gold and Druid in the rest of the deck, or even a silver and a Druid. So I think for sure there I'd play the Messenger first, top deck the Recruiter. We trashed a Druid.
Yeah.
We have another one. Okay. If that Vagrant didn't draw a Recruiter, they don't have the win. If you trash, you could trash the Haunted Woods there for free, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was risky.
Now we count 13, 15.
Now they only...
We're counting 16.
Now they only have a losing tie.
If they trashed both Haunted Woods to Recruiters, I believe it's a win.
So is this triple duchy then? Since they're playing for another turn?
Why are we not? Okay. I don't know. Yeah, this is just you have to think, I guess the bigger point is when you're playing with cards like Haunted Woods or Tactician, you don't need them on the last turn of the game.
That's right, yeah.
So that should be your immediate thought. If I'm going to win this turn, I'm going to trash those cards for me, because like Transmogrify is kind of the same, like things like that, where they're only good next turn and you're not planning on there being a next turn. So you were saying, okay, now that we don't have the win,
yeah,
what are we doing? So if Echiqueur buys a province, then they're at 30. So we kind of have to go triple duchy and hope to go province, duchy, estate next turn.
Yeah, I think so.
That also lets you take the river, which is nice. And It looks, though, like there's a pretty decent chance that Echiqueur is going to get there to double with the Haunted Woods in play.
Yep. What are they? One coin short at this point? Is that it there?
They've got it in hand now.
Yeah, they have it in hand. Discard the recruiter and they've got it.
So chattateo, I think, missed a win there. I think if they trash Haunted Woods to recruiter, play messenger to top deck recruiter, play the vagrant, then play the recruiter, they hit 18, they can double province estate. But it's a somewhat tough line to spot. It's complicated.
Yeah, I assume when they bought all that payload the turn before, they were calculating out what their max, or maybe not. Maybe they were just thinking, I need to be able to threaten double province. Maybe they weren't even thinking about the win double province in an estate. All right, so 1-1. I think that's second player winning the first two.
Always nice to see. It feels like when first player wins all the games that, it's just first player advantage. So
yeah,
when second player wins, it indicates a nice game happened.
All right.
So transmogrify here for sure, I think, on the open for me.
Yeah. Seems pretty clear.
And I think you pair it with a silver. I'd like to get a junk dealer. I don't know. Are we going to play with advisors here? I think there's a lot going on in this kingdom.
Yeah, there's some different draw options, aren't there? I mean, Lost City's draw, but it's pretty expensive draw for what it does for you.
All right, so
Crossroads can certainly draw, but that's not great
idea
either.
Here, you have a junk dealer and you have two transmogrifies. So you'd like to add a copper and an expensive card that you can transmogrify every turn. Can we build a deck that uses Treasure Trove to give us golds that we can transmogrify into Lost Cities and Tormentors? Is that crazy?
Seems like that puts a lot of junk in your deck. You're going to need at least two junk dealers.
You've got two junk dealers, two transmogrifiers. You'll get through it. I mean, how do you top deck the golds? I guess the real problem is there's no plus buy, right? Nothing says plus buy on it.
Right.
So Leprechaun is probably going to be a better solution to that problem.
Yeah.
And I guess you play with a couple advisors. They're not incredibly inspiring to me. Maybe you don't play with any advisors. You just play with Lost Cities.
I'd be inclined to skip them, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the card.
Yeah, so I think basically the idea is to get 7 actions, including Leprechaun, into your deck, and then to start greening. Here, Transmogrify kind of counts as 1. So you want to get, I mean, and Lost Cities are expensive is the only thing. So maybe you get a couple advisors because you hit 4 and you don't want a third Transmogrify or a second Devil's Workshop.
Right.
I'm pretty happy to take a Devil's Workshop here as well because, all right, so what is Devil's Workshop gaining? It's probably just gaining, often it's going to be gaining random advisors. Maybe Crossroads.
I guess, yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're playing with Devil's Workshop, which is always a pretty good card, then I guess you're just going to gain advisors with them.
Yeah, I mean, you're not able to gain imps every turn, but and certainly I'm willing to play with 2 transmogrifies. One of the things about this, so this is a single game kingdom, right? So there's no double provincing ever, but you can transmogrify provinces. So if you have an extra transmogrify on the mat, it really puts a crimp in your opponent's plans because they can't do a lot of stuff that they might otherwise want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They both had seemingly somewhat awkward shuffles here, and Transmogrify is somewhat slow to see estates. But they've both gotten junk dealers now. I would be somewhat in on like summoning advisor here over Lost City.
Okay. I guess advisors help.
It just helps you immediately. And like you want to get around to see the junk dealer and the transmogrify, which are
Yeah,
and
you want to
discard
get through your
powers. So you're
deck
not going to.
quicker. That makes sense. And I guess having an advisor stack also helps with the leprechaun activation.
If
Consistency of
your
being able to
opponent doesn't keep
activate.
discarding. Yeah, I think stack is maybe stronger than what I would go for. Which is like, you have 3 or 4 advisors and you use them as you can. This is going to be a nice shuffle to trigger. I think you don't play this last advisor, but this reveal was okay. And here we can take, probably this now should be a lost city, and Leprechaun already. The challenge with the advisor stack is it is somewhat difficult to get exactly 7 things in play with, and like see the Leprechaun when you want to see it.
Sure.
I kind of would prefer to be thinner, like second junk dealer, and then have maybe a couple of advisors as ancillary cards.
Yeah. And you certainly want one lost city here.
Yeah, being able to gain and play the wish is very strong. Well, we have seen the treasure trove here. I missed when that was bought. They're playing this out quickly. And Echiqueur does have the second junk dealer now as well to go along with it.
It's an interesting T-Mog. I don't know that was worth it there. Although I guess I'm not sure what else they're doing with it, right?
Yeah, I think probably silver to advisor is going to be better.
I would think.
Especially because they have a lot of silvers and we kind of want to get rid of all the silvers in the deck. But if you've listened to the A-Libby interview that came out this morning, he had a rant about how he hates advisor.
Oh, is that right?
Just because of this exact thing, every time there's like a 5-second pause after every play. And it just makes the game really slow.
I can definitely see that.
So I'm like staring at this hand here, and I desperately want Chattateo to buy a second junk dealer.
Yeah.
They've still got 5 coppers.
Ooh, province.
And they're just going for provinces. Interesting. The deck's a bit of a hodgepodge. Like if you don't draw the leprechaun at the top, but it doesn't seem like Echiqueur's got deck control either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with all these advisors, I mean, even just picking up a couple coppers off of them, I think they're gonna be able to province fairly consistently.
The advisors also get worse a lot very fast once you start.
That's true. When there's more green in the deck, it's easier just to give you a green card and a copper and discard the good stuff. No leprechaun here.
As I said, it's tough to get it working with the advisor stack, and we're just seeing all these silvers and coppers, but maybe Echiqueur has overbuilt, or not overbuilt, under like not built the deck quite optimally.
Well, their problem is they added this treasure trove and they have like no draw in their deck.
Yeah, they added the treasure trove too soon, certainly. The turn 5 junk dealer, the turn 5 tormentor from Echiqueur, I wonder if that could have been summon advisor just to accelerate. It could have also been second junk dealer to just get rid of all the coppers, and then Transmogrify is going to see something good. And worst case scenario, we Transmogrify a junk dealer to Lost City in a few turns. This is just not a kingdom where you can come back from a 3 province lead very easily.
No, not at all. And like you said, with 3 T-Mogs on the mat, Chattateo, if they end up with a province in their starting hand, can mill as well. So it's really gonna accelerate quickly the end game here.
Yeah.
I mean, they might even with 3 on the mat, you might even consider turning this leprechaun into an advisor here, or this Devil's Workshop into a Lost City, or maybe both, just to make sure you province here.
Yeah, you've got a 2 province lead, so you're not really worried about having if it was tied in provinces, I think you want to leave the transmogrifies down. But given that they have this advantage, it doesn't seem. That's when advisor gets real bad.
Yep.
This is what we're seeing here.
Yep.
It also makes the more advisors transmogrifies you play, the more easy it is to activate Leprechaun for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, this Leprechaun isn't working out too well for him. I guess they do get
silver
colonnade points, so that helps.
Silver to advisor there for me. Echiqueur does not need the transmogrifies at this point. Like, they need to turn transmogrifies into value as soon as possible.
Yep.
There's no need for them to save them for a pile out turn.
Yep. Agree.
And really the game ends now as soon as Chattateo top decks a province, although it's still a somewhat thick deck. Yeah, so I think I'm in on double T-Mog, double junk dealer lines, and then the silvers get turned into advisors, the coppers get trashed, and then you get one Lost City and one Leprechaun, and then don't play around with a huge number of advisors, don't play around with Treasure Trove, or maybe if you get deck control very quickly, you can play around with Treasure Trove a little bit, but...
Does Eshi have 3 treasure troves now? I didn't see Chattateo buy one. That's a lot of money.
One treasure trove feels like a somewhat absolute maximum.
Yeah, that's a lot of yellow to be putting in your deck. Yeah, I guess that's a way to look at it. They're just kind of playing a money deck, but...
With junk dealers and Devil's Workshops and I guess you could play money, just transmogrified junk dealer money with Treasure Trove, but the ability, if you can consistently activate Leprechaun here, you can add duchies in a hurry, you can transmogrify golds into duchies. These have been very nice advisor reveals.
Yep. Well,
we'll see if we ever actually get to play the Wish this game. I somewhat doubt it.
Well, they're going to province here, which effectively ends the game anyway.
Yeah, so the bottom card of the deck is the Wish. Okay,
yeah,
great.
so leave it
don't
there.
Play this advisor.
Oh no, they can play junk dealer now.
Okay. But again, too many advisors. Like I said, it's hard to time the Leprechaun thing. So here we can wish for. I guess you just wish for Duchy and buy a province, and the game's over.
Yeah, you're so far ahead.
There's not a way to get 15 points. In fact, Echiqueur could get 7 points, I think, at most in a turn. Chattateo is already miserable, right? So if they can see Locusts and Locust hits province, and then they buy province, and then Devil's Workshop for an estate, that's a 10-point turn. But that I think is the absolute maximum for points in a turn.
Yeah, and there's the mill for the win.
Yeah, so the engine does work there, which I think we somewhat expected it to.
Yep. Yep. All right, so another win for player 2.
I have played whole matches where player 2 wins, so it's not the... it's not like completely shocking.
We're going to need another player 2 win, otherwise that'll end the match, right? That's match point for Chattateo now.
Yeah.
Rats, sewers, butcher. Fun stuff. Yeah, cellar, hound.
So, Rat Sewers is interesting, but I don't think you ever hit 5.
Yeah, so you can't really open that, can you?
I don't really think you can. I think I would go Smithy Silver here.
Okay.
Try to hit 6 for Border Village Butcher to start with. And once you've got the Butcher in the deck, then add a Rats. and start ratsing, and then butchering rats into Border Village feels pretty sweet once you get that going.
Yeah, hitting 6 here seems pretty key. I mean, you're going to want as many villages as you can get so that you can play these smithies and butchers. And I guess you're going to have to add a ranger for the plus buy as well at some point.
Maybe you don't ever use plus buy though. Maybe you use
butcher for your
butchering,
gains. Yeah, that's probably more.
Border Village into province as your.
Yeah, that seems more economical, doesn't it?
So we'll see if Echiqueur is able to hit 5 here. This is the problem. Their deck only has does not have a lot of money in it, let's say.
Yeah.
It is possible here if they draw a copper, I guess they'll hit 5 with a couple of silvers. So yeah, so the smithy did what it's supposed to do, and it didn't draw dead, which is nice. Echiqueur follows with the smithy, which I don't like for their deck consistency, but
yeah, with all the rats in there, it certainly doesn't seem as good for their deck, does it?
I think I would have just wanted another silver. Copper to embargo.
Guess they really wanted that, or no, estate to embargo. So they didn't. They got to keep their coffers and trash a copper with sewers. So that seems all right.
Okay, so I guess it seems pretty suspect. I think I would have just gone estate into silver, but I don't know. Maybe it's okay. They're just action limited is the problem. They have a smithy, a butcher, and an embargo now in this shuffle.
Well, they bottom deck their villages, so it looks like it'll work out in terms of the embargo buy, but this is kind of a sad.
I guess they get to trash an estate and a copper, and this turn they get to trash an estate and a copper as well.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 estates.
Yeah, I assume without sewers, they're not doing that play. Ooh, now we're buying embargoes, huh? Yeah, I don't like buying embargoes.
Nor do I. You have to take something. Yeah, Scepter seems reasonable. Scepter Butcher is nice.
Yeah.
Because you could Scepter, like if you dead draw at the end of the turn, you can Scepter a Butcher and trash something in your hand. Echiqueur is 7 rats, is that right?
It's a lot of rats.
Oh, they've trashed 3 rats. They've already been able to trash a couple of rats.
Still, that's a lot of rats for that deck.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So when one rat trashes a copper, sewers lets you trash another rat's hand. That's where I missed. I missed what was going on. So that was why they were able to trash rats there. And Echiqueur is going to be clean here in just a second. So here I like butchering smithy into
Border Village.
Border Village.
Yeah. Oh, I do not like not playing the butcher. You got to play the butcher, don't you?
Maybe this is fine. If you butcher the embargo.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to play the butcher. Whether you butcher the embargo or the smithy, I think either is.
Trashing a copper feels maybe better. So here we can play butcher and then Scepter Butcher to trash the silver into
Border Village.
Border Village.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's how that works. And then you get to trash a copper.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're not trashing with the first butcher so that you have enough coffers to get the Border Village.
Yeah. Because here you have to actually gain. So my line, I have an extra copper in deck, I guess. Maybe this line comes out to be the same. I have an extra copper instead of a silver, I guess. But maybe this line works out fine. So Echiqueur did not find their butcher, sadly. They find it now, and they certainly didn't want to trash a ranger, did they?
They trashed a silver.
Unsure what the undo was.
Oh, they didn't do the sewer the rats. I see.
Ah, okay.
Well, yeah, like you said, they're nice and thin, but yeah, okay, they're adding more gold.
Gold.
I mean, they need payload, but
Butcher is payload.
Butcher is, yeah, better payload here.
Take Border Village Butcher there.
Yeah.
That seems pretty.
Yeah, they
so this,
need.
Again, to me, this is Butcher Silver into Butcher. Trashing copper.
What are you gaining, though, off the copper?
You're just gaining more coppers. It doesn't feel like it's worth it.
No. I mean, they're getting thin enough where they shouldn't need that cellar. We're playing these rats. Interesting. I would think at this point you want to stop. Oh, wow. They're taking a province.
Yeah, this feels like you can just score in this kingdom so fast.
Yeah, with Butcher, I mean, Chattateo's got all these border villages in their deck that they're eventually going to be able to butcher into provinces, so.
Oof, trashing the scepter feels bad. One other nice thing you can do here, SSounder, is play scepter as the ranger when it's on the off token. What am I saying?
To flip it to the off token, yeah.
Right, so if you play your ranger for draw, then scepter can play it to flip it to the side you want it to be on to start the turn.
Yeah, I like that.
And then if it, and like here, it's on the right side, so you don't need to play it to flip it this turn. You can scepter a butcher for coffers or something.
Right. Yeah, these golds, especially if you're just going to end up butchering golds into province like they did last turn, they should really be border villages. More gold, okay. And then with border villages, you have the flexibility instead of where you can play it as a village rather than just have it be a dead card in your hand. Yeah, Chattateo drawing just fine now.
Yeah, I do want to get rid of these silvers. I keep recommending butchering silvers into nice things, scepters and border villages. Like here we can butcher 2 silvers into like 1 into a butcher, 1 into a border village, butcher something like that. Really, you just want to take all the border villages and then worry about greening later because you could just butcher them into provinces.
That's right.
Which is what we're seeing, which is what we should be seeing here shortly. Which was just a really strong card.
Yeah.
I think Echiqueur's rats thing ended up like the rat being able to trash a rats with sewers is kind of nice. I didn't fully understand that interaction. And I think that's worth. I think Echiqueur could have, if instead of buying golds, they just bought more border villages, butchers, rangers, they would be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would have been competitive if they would have done that. If they'd have, instead of taking these golds, they'd have taken border villages and paired it with, butchers and smithies or rangers.
Yeah. Chattateo blinks here and takes the duchy. I don't think they needed to blink. I think they could just say, look, my deck is way better. I can easily double province whenever I want. I can triple province with butcher and border village, right?
Yeah.
Like the last turn of the game, Chattateo should be able to triple province. So just don't, I don't need to buy golds.
Yeah, we don't need all these golds either at this point.
No,
they may.
It maybe will pay off if they can find a ranger near the top of the shuffle.
Butchering gold to gold. I'm not sure what that's about.
Do they not understand how Butcher works?
Yeah, you don't have to trash, right? Yeah, that was very odd.
You do not.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
they
you're,
could have definitely. I mean, there's no reason not to have undone that. I think they.
I mean, the only reason I could see doing that is if you're trying to use sewers, but they didn't. They don't need to use sewers, and even still, that wouldn't have been great.
Yeah, so chattateo should just plan on single provincing here and then set themselves up to triple next turn.
Yeah, to win on their next turn.
Honestly, quad provincing does not seem impossible right now for chattateo. Butchering 2 golds into provinces, or butchering 2
Border villages
into provinces. And so let's play 1 border village for the action and then pause and count. I think this is triple province here, though. I think we've got. Yeah. This is triple. This is quad province, right?
Or quad, yeah.
2 border villages into provinces. Does it matter? Do we want to quad? Do we just double? Do we just single? Say I'm good. I'll kick off next turn and win.
I don't know. Quad seems pretty winning, but maybe it's too risky that you're setting yourself up for a dud.
All you got to do is draw a butcher, and I think you win.
Right.
The last card's a province. Edge roll. Can we get 5 provinces? The answer is no. We're quite a bit short. I don't know.
If they had another butcher.
Butcher province into province. Butcher border village into province. We've got 6 coffers.
Oh, true. Scepter maybe
Butcher duchy into province. I think we get to 5.
Maybe we can. Yeah.
5 here. If we mill province here, we could butcher another gold into province too. Yeah. So this is what I was saying. I didn't say this very clearly, but when I said at the beginning with border village and butcher, we could just print provinces later in the game. This is what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah. The butcher is such a powerful card. Yeah. I forgot about the scepter, but yeah, the scepter gets you there.
And Echiqueur was thinking they've got a province lead, and then bam. So the commerce gave them 1 dud, but it paid off the next turn with fuel. I think they could have had a similar payload over 2 turns rather than the 1 dead turn with the commerce. But
yeah,
nicely spotted there by Chattateo. That was a big pilot, 5 provinces.
Yeah, that was clutch.
Thank you for jumping in and commentary and recording here last minute.
Yeah, happy to do it. Glad it worked out, and congrats to Chattateo. They will play 6K in the finals, so we will look for that to be scheduled, and hopefully we can work out for us to do that one as well.
Sounds good. Thank you, SSounder.
All right, thanks, Seanahan. Thanks, everyone.